So I always knew that the impact that a bike has had on myself and the life that I lead. But it wasn't until I started organizing this event that I learned the true impact that it can have. Tonight I'm going to give you a little bit of insight in what it's like to be on the Cycle 4 National Relay Ride. This ride is a ride across the country that raises money and awareness for various charities and causes that matter to each individual rider involved. It's a 23-day journey from coast to coast, and we cover about 7,000 kilometers during this period. We recruit a team of about 50 riders, and these riders range from hardcore elite cyclists to fit recreational riders to those that are complete beginners and may have just got a bike at the beginning of the year and are training up until August for the event. So we divide the region in the country into 5 different regions, and as a team rider, you choose a region that you're going to represent. And as a rider, you'll be riding with us for 4 to 6 days and covering about 100K a day personally, and as a team, we cover about 300K a day. So this is just to give you a little bit of an idea of how the event runs. So tonight, I want to talk to you about the impact this ride ended up having that as an organizer of this event, wasn't really expecting. The power that 2 wheels and a group of strangers, when they come together for a common cause, can have. So we start the event here in North Vancouver, and we have 23 days ahead of us. But I'm going to skip ahead to the Calgary to Thunder Bay region. And so we arrive into Calgary, and it's time to say goodbye to the BC team and the 4 days that we've just spent with them and the friendships that we've built, and hello to the 6 days and the flat prairies ahead of us. And this is always the hardest part. You build the friendships, and the team riders get to understand the day-to-day routine and get a feel for it and get comfortable, and then it's time to say goodbye, and then you have to train a whole new team up. And this happens 5 different times across the country. So this being my 3rd year running this event, I have a pretty good feel of what I like, what I don't like, what to expect, and what I look forward to. But this year caught me a little bit by surprise, and the prairies was actually one of my favorite regions for this year. So we meet the new team, and we have what's usually a 10-minute briefing the night before, and this turned it into about an hour. These guys had tons of questions. They were super high energy, probably a little bit high maintenance, and I wasn't really sure what to do with them. It was basically like taking 10 type A strangers, putting them together in an RV for 6 days, riding together, eating together, sleeping together, and I had to kind of come up with a plan of how I was going to settle them down or how I was going to control them. So we go into day 1, and I decide I'm just going to throw the whole structure out the window. I'm like, I'm going to let these guys learn the hard way. They had all these crazy goals of, I want to ride 1,000K in the 6 days, I want to ride a century a day, this type of thing. And for some people, that's not a big deal, but these guys are pretty new to cycling. So I know what people can achieve and can't achieve. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to just throw them in. They're going to ride as much as you want day 1, and they'll learn why there's a structure, and it will settle their craziness down a little bit, and then we'll kind of go from there. So the plan worked pretty well. And by day 2, they understood, okay, this is why there's a structure, and this is why we follow it, and we've still got 5 days ahead, and there's this thing called pacing yourself. So, but what caught me by surprise was by the end of day 2, I learned that this was actually one inspirational group of people. So again, I was a little surprised is in my first opinion that I had of this group. So I wasn't expecting the drive that these guys had, the determination and bond that quickly happened within these few days. And so we normally travel east to west, and that's what we've done the first few years. And as a cyclist, you kind of know that that's the wrong way to do it because you're battling headwinds across central Canada for days on end. And so by year 3, we're like, okay, well, we've proved that it can be done the hard way, let's do it the easy way. And so every day we're sitting on 40K an hour, back-to-back hours with kind of little effort. And I'm like, okay, there's kind of a reason why people do it this way. So that helped bring the spirit up of the team and helped them achieve their crazy goals that they had. And so their enthusiasm and the support that they had for each other, it was pretty inspirational. And it's just hard to describe the feeling that you get when you see a group of people grow and achieve so much that's life-changing in such a short period, and the reflection of what this event has on people. And so to go from day one in Calgary to thinking these guys are going to be hard work and high maintenance, to finishing 6 days later in Thunder Bay and being upset to see them go and the friendships that we've built, and seeing that all of them actually achieved these crazy goals that they had set themselves. And it was kind of a real eye-opener to see what Two Wheels can really do to these individuals, to a group as a whole, and the inspiration that left within the region that they passed through. And it's moments like these that make every second of the planning process worthwhile. The realization that the impact that it has on every person involved, and it's not just the riders, it's the support crews, the volunteers, the cooks, the photographers, myself, and everyone seems to leave the event inspired, life changed, or just this new experience and zest for life. And this is just a little bit of insight into what happens over these 23 days, and there's tons more stories and just the amazingness that happens out of every single one that's involved with it. So what's next for this event? Well, it hasn't been easy the last 3 years. It's definitely been hard work to keep this event in existence. Most events run with donations come in, and then they take out expenses for wages and marketing and everything else, and whatever's left goes to the charity. And we've always run from the beginning that whatever the riders raise in donations, we're giving the whole amount to the charity of choice. So it leaves us in a bit of a tough situation. So we need to find other ways to raise the money to cover these expenses. And so we went into this year's event thinking that this is going to be the last year. Just what we were raising to the amount it was costing to put on the event just wasn't really feasible. But within a few days into the event, I just come to the realization that the impact it has on people, we just weren't ready to let it die. So everyone was excited for the next year, and talking about next year, I didn't have the heart to tell them that there's not going to be a next year. So after the event, we have now happily signed a long-term partnership with Sanofi Advantis, and we're happy to say that this event is going to be around for years to come. And we're putting on a 4-day road bike stage race as a new event up in the Yukon next year, and the money that we make from that is getting kicked back in the organization to help keep this event around, and to, again, keep the donations that come in at 100%. And yeah, so we're excited to see where this is going to go. And if anyone has any questions on the events that we do, I'll be around at the end of the night to chat, or you can get my information off any of the websites. Thanks.